everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. One of the things I wanted to talk about with you guys today, I did receive a couple of interesting old text messages from a valid source, kind of showing Eric Kanevsky's history a little bit. And it does bother me that he runs around claiming to be Natty these days when he was so open with all of us, including me, about his gear use like 5 and 6 years ago, even when he was in high school. But first, let's go ahead and do an imitation there. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Eric Kanevsky here. We're over here trying to get big as fuck. All right, guys. Now, I know a lot of people out there are going to see that I abuse a bunch of gear. And, that's why I look like I'm 45 at the age of 22. And that I don't know anything about training. But my response to them is, I'm bigger than you. Look at these guns. Look at these guns. I'm bigger than you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm all natural. Put grapeseed oil in my arms. Rub it all over them. That's how I got that big. All right, guys. Let's put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing. Work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And this is a problem, we have guys like Eric out there, and it wouldn't be a big deal. I wouldn't care if he only had 20,000 followers. But the point is, we've got a guy with a growing audience. He's collabing with a lot of big names. He is approaching that verified YouTube mark. And he's running around telling people that he is natural. Trying to claim the natural thing. And a lot of people say, well, he's trolling. It's a joke. Eric's a troll. Yeah, I know Eric's a troll. But the problem is that I'm concerned there are young kids who are going to take it serious. You're going to say, well, I want to get really, really big, and maybe he can give me advice. But you need to look at stuff like this, some of these old text messages from years ago that someone sent. And those aren't one-offs. I showed stuff before showing old screenshots which he claimed were fake of admitting to being on 3 grams while he was still a teenager. 3 grams of gear a week. 3 grams. People need to understand, like for me, my replacement dose, for me in my 40s on TRT, just to stay in the normal range, is 125 milligrams a week. 3,000 versus 125, all right, that is a big difference. And people need to understand this is someone who never built a base. He was putting out YouTube fitness videos, and again, a lot of it was trolling and joking. When he was still in high school, he was a tiny, skinny teenager, and he did do a drug transformation back then. But keep in mind, his fitness advice was stuff like, well, meal timing and micros don't matter, so he just kind of did the if it fits your macros, it was trendy, and he would do stuff on camera to where he would get all of his calories in one meal. He did it on camera before. It ate nothing but Pop-Tarts and protein shakes. He's like, well, you can just drink 150 grams of protein in one sitting. It's fine. And that was his nutrition advice, guys. It was Pop-Tarts and whey protein. He was Pop-Tart and whey protein fitness. Running bro splits. And this is what he did as a teenager and then got big as a teen while doing all this stuff due to using extreme amounts of exogenous hormones. And now he's giving advice. All right? He never built a base. This is someone who learned everything the wrong way as a teenager, never built a base, never learned how to really train, and he's out giving advice, giving tons of advice. And I understand the entertainment factor. Like, he approached me before, and I took the stuff down. I was polite, my old things of him talking about gear, because he's like, look, bro, if you will what's the way he put it? If you'll just take this down, I would really appreciate it. We talked about it, and I took the stuff down because he approached me what I thought was like a man, and we chatted on the phone, and everything was cool. But then the guy turns around, and how does he reward that? He gives my cell phone number to Cassidy Campbell, of all people, and then it ends up getting spread around. The reason the trolls even have my number and other people have my phone number is because Eric spread it around. That's how the guy returns favors. And the only reason I took the original stuff down was why? Because he said, hey, I'm trying to get into WWE, and they got a policy against it. I would really appreciate it. And he asked me politely, and I'm the sort of person, someone says, hey, this could hurt my career, and he came to me politely. All right. I thought that was respectful. So, yeah, I took the original stuff down, right? That was reasonable. But then this guy acts like that. That's how he rewards you doing them a favor. He's an immature little ass clown. Immature little shit. And now, since he didn't do the WWE, his health is extremely in jeopardy by what he's doing. Massive amounts of drug abuse, bulking up over 300 pounds. eats garbage. All right, this is a concern because this is now someone who didn't do the WWE and he's out giving advice. And when he did that to me, it told me a lot about what sort of person he is. I mean, I'm going to be honest, guys. Man does you a favor and then you stab him in the back and then they see you doing wrongdoing and giving people bad advice. I know he's not a good person. A good person wouldn't do that. A good person wouldn't say, oh, let me, since, we talked on the phone and you did a favor for me and you were cool doing it and happy about doing it. You said, yeah, man, I'll do that. To then just totally betray that person, start giving their private phone number out to everybody, to trolls like Cassidy Campbell. I mean, that's not a good person. He's not a good person. That's very low character, low moral character at that point. No honor. So yeah, this is a guy who has no honor, no respect for other people, no training knowledge, who I'm watching standing around hurting his health and trying to give advice to other people. Someone who was very open in all the groups years ago. Or people need to understand that. It's not like there's one or two people who know about this. Everybody who follows all the various Facebook fitness drug groups, all these coaches have talked about this. There are coaches, there are prep coaches and powerlifting coaches and other people who I know who this has come up that they all remember Eric talking about the drugs when he was like 16, 17 years old in all these groups with his real Facebook, right? His official Facebook and all these circles, because we all remember it. He was talking about it because there are groups where we all talk about this stuff. He was in those groups discussing his use, getting drug advice while still in high school. Right? That is the entirety of what he learned about. He never built a base. Never built a base. Started off on the wrong foot. Everybody in the community remembers it. Now he's going to run around and make these silly trolling claims of, oh, I'm natural. Take my advice, and giving people advice like, oh, you have to either pick to be big or to be strong. You can't power lift and be big. It's like, really, guys? No, without drugs, the opposite is true. And he's teaching people stuff that's provably false. And if he just said all the time, I'm just a troll, don't take any of my training advice seriously, it would be different. But he's putting this out as legitimate information. He's literally telling people that you can completely separate size and strength. You can't as a natural, right? You can't as a natural. People who are on a lot of drugs can do that. People who use nothing or they use very small amounts, your size and strength are enormously correlated. You can't separate them. You can't separate them. And most experts know this. Most researchers in the field know this. Most coaches know this. All right? There's only a small degree of separation between the two. And they are enormously correlated. But he's trying to tell people the opposite. And he's pushing people away from using big lifts, doing tons of fluff and pump, and telling people that this is the way to get big. While eating a garbage diet, I already get that big bloated gut. I already made a video on that the other day that I challenged him to live as long or outlive his idol, Rich Piana. This is scary stuff, guys. But this is the case of the blind leading the blind. And it would be different, man. Had he actually learned the basics and he was still blasting a bunch of gear, but still telling people, hey, this is the correct way to train. This is how you should eat. Was giving advice that would actually help everyone who isn't blasting gear. It would be a lot different. It would be so much different. But he's not, because he never bothered to learn the basics. He just went straight into this hardcore bodybuilding nonsense. And the poor guy, he does look hideous at this point. He can try to deny that all he wants. No leg development, big gut. Already showing very, very serious health concerns. Like the signs I'm seeing already, again, with all the visceral fat and stuff that he has, that he's accumulated from the drug abuse at such a young age. This is someone whose health is going to go downhill. And I'm concerned with, even though he has displayed to me that he is someone of low moral character, someone who can't be trusted, totally untrustworthy as a person because of my own interactions with him, I'm still concerned about the kid's health, because even if someone does something like that to me wrong, I don't want them to die at 35, you know? Because they made a mistake and displayed some bad character when they were a very, very young man. They shouldn't die at 35, but that's what's going to happen. That's the direction he's going. And the problem is that he's taken other people with him. He's going to take his audience with him. And again, I'm just really concerned about it. And that's how I feel. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.